This comment right here. People don't realize that if writers were allowed free reign, comics would be hella gay right now. And the funny thing is, a lot of these hella gay comics would be written by straight white men. Welcome to my safe haven. If you're coming across this video, be sure to watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. Now, this comment is in response to a video that I did a couple days ago where I said if comics were written today, specifically Marvel and DC, it wouldn't be as straight white and male as it is currently, because a lot of these characters were created in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s when black people didn't even have the right to vote in this country. So there have been so many moments of writers injecting queer subtext in their plots because they knew they couldn't go full on out with it, but they wanted to include it in some way, shape, or form. Take the current controversy was going on about Mystique being Nightcrawler's father instead of his mother, or even the relationship between Mystique and Destiny. That wasn't officially confirmed in comics until 2019, because you couldn't have two women married in a relationship in the 80s, especially during the Comics Code of Authority. It wasn't allowed to happen. And the same sentiments with Mystique being Nightcrawler's father. That type of queer subtext, trans type of storyline, that couldn't happen in the 80s and 90s. Of course, Claremont has always hinted at least at Mystique and Destiny being in a relationship, hinted at Kitty Pryde being bisexual, which is something that he wanted to do, hinted at Storm and Yukio being in a relationship. Let's even take the queering of the character of Wolverine. Currently in comics, it's hinted that Logan, Scott, and Jean are in a throuple, and that they are all having sex with each other. Not only are they having sex with Jean, but it's hinted, heavily hinted, that Logan and Scott are also having sex with each other. This concept with at least Logan is not new, because in an alternate universe, he's in a relationship, a gay relationship with Hercules. You got this issue of Wolverine that came out in like 2003, and the artist is Asad Ribic, and it's very suggestive. Looks like Nightcrawler's naked, and Wolverine is looking at his naked body, and then look where the beer can is placed. It looks very suggestive of what happens to a guy when they get excited. And Asad Ribic knew what he was doing with this cover. The writer Greg Rucka knew what Asad Ribic was doing, and they both approved it. And there's nothing in the book itself that depicts anything that's going on in this cover, but they still wanted to throw it in there. Because again, if writers were allowed to do what they wanted to do, the two of them would have gotten together. Take this character that I'm holding, Daken, son of Wolverine. It was confirmed that he was in a romantic and sexual relationship with Fantastic Four member Johnny Storm. James Asmus, who wrote this solo Gambit storyline, he wanted to reveal that Gambit was bisexual. Wasn't allowed to. Hell, even before Tim Drake came out as bisexual, there was this moment where Tim Drake and Connor Kent were changing in front of each other in the closet, and the writer made a joke of saying that he did this because he wanted the two of them to come out the closet. And don't get me started on the pretty gay, romantic, and sexual relationship between Eddie Brock and his Venom symbiote. My mutual, Danielle Silverstone, has an entire playlist dedicated to showing y'all why Venom and Eddie Brock are totally gay for each other. That's not me making stuff up. Like, that was an entire issue in the comics where the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock were hella horny, and eventually Eddie Brock gave in and let the Venom symbiote give him a blowjob. He says, "Watch the teeth." And I could go on and on and on and on and on. So for all those people complaining that comics are suddenly woke, Marvel and DC are suddenly woke, they've always been quote unquote woke. It's just they do what they can when they can. But for us queer folk, we always see the subtext, the references, the innuendos. And so when stuff like this becomes more explicit and official, none of us are surprised. But you might be, but that's your problem. Stay woke, my friend. And as I always say, my motto is, make it blacker, make it gayer.